let's get into 2020, because that's where the action is right now. Every day it changes. You're watching it from the sidelines, though. How is that emotionally for you? How do you do that?
Well, look, I am obviously watching it because I care deeply that Trump is a one-term president, or less, if necessary. But, you know, it's hard to believe, but it's still early. You know, a lot of the people who were ahead at this point in prior nominating seasons did not end up winning the nomination. So it's hard to tell right now. I just wish everybody well. I've talked to most of them, and a lot of them call me from time to time and ask for advice. And I just try to give them the very best advice I can, because it's really important to have a group of strong messengers about the alternative. But I think it's a really good point, Abby, because you got the election going on, you've got the impeachment going on. The Democrats have to do two things at once. They have to do the impeachment in a thoughtful, deliberative, serious way. Yes. And they have to do a campaign that talks about why it would be better for Americans when it comes to health care or climate change or whatever the issue might be. So that's a difficult balancing act, but it has to be done. And I know everybody's trying the best they know to actually get that done.
Well, you're sitting at a table in good company. Megan, myself, we've all lost presidential campaigns. My family didn't get nearly as far as yours did, but we all sat there the next day thinking, coulda, woulda, shoulda.
Oh.
Right? And I know that you've probably had many mornings where you wake up, and this book is all about being gutsy as women. And part of being gutsy is looking back and realizing what I could have done differently. When you look back on your campaign and what Democrats today might do differently, what goes through your mind? What do you wish you had done differently in that moment?
Well, I wrote a whole book about it because it was devastating. It was devastating, as it was, I know, for the McCain family and your family.
There was more vodka involved in our election night.
Well, there was vodka involved every time I traveled with your dad, I'll tell you that. But you know, what happens on the road stays on the road.
He used to say that you were a blast, and he loved traveling with you, and he
My dad said the same thing about you, actually. He said he loved
I want to hear these.
I got all the good stuff.
But you know, I think that goes partly to Abby's question. You know, I'm a serious person, but I'm also a fun person. But I think I probably came across as too serious and too. You know, I really believed that my job, especially as a woman and the first woman to go as far as I did, that I had to help people feel good about a woman in the Oval Office, a woman commander-in-chief. And so I may have overcorrected a little bit because sometimes people say, oh, why can't you be like that? Or why weren't you like that? You know, and I did feel a heavy sense of responsibility. And it was such that, you know, maybe I wasn't as loose or open as I could have been. So I take responsibility for everything I didn't do as well, or my campaign didn't do as well.
Well, you can't take responsibility for Russia.
No, but that's the issue. I really believe that there were unprecedented events in this election, the last election, I mean, that were beyond my understanding and nearly anybody else's. When we started talking in the summer of 2016 about the Russians, you know, I think most of the press and the public goes, what is she talking about? You know, I mean, you can't go around making excuses. They didn't understand the attack that we were unfortunately suffering. So I think now, and here's what I've told all the candidates. I've said, look, you could run the best campaign. You could be the nominee, but you could still lose because, number one, you could lose with voter suppression. And you had Stacey Abrams on. And, you know, she is a champion for let everybody vote. And at the end of the day, who wins, wins, and who doesn't, doesn't. Or you could lose because of hacking and theft of material.